guys. Happy Friday. Hopefully you guys had a good week. I just wanted to come and wish you guys a good weekend and all that good stuff. I'm in a cooler spot now. I had to evacuate. I had to escape for a little bit. It was so hot. Like, I think the hottest it got was like 116 when I was out there. So it just got too hot, man. I was just like, man, if I leave early enough in the morning, maybe I could beat the sun before the streets get too hot. So it worked. So I'm in a cooler spot for a little bit, you know. I just wanted to hop in and wish you guys a good weekend. The craziest part though is, like, I was thinking, like, I would prefer being hot than cold though, to be honest. First of all is because I'm a summer baby and I just like hot weather in general anyway. But second of all, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm gonna tell you guys a story, right? So my flashback Friday. So I remember, this is why I prefer being hot other than cold, right? Or being in hot climates other than cold, right? So I used to live in Colorado, right? And so I'm so used to, like, driving on, like, ice, up hills on ice, literally up and down hills, going back and forth to work and on ice and stuff, right? So I remember, like, back in November of 2019, I was staying with my ex at the time, and everything was cool in our relationship, right? Until, like, well, so I thought, until the day after Thanksgiving. So what was that, Black Friday, I believe? And there's always something crazy happening on Black Friday back then when I lived in Colorado. So everything was fine, right? And so I remember I had made my first turkey and I was super happy. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm making my first turkey, and it was super good, right? So I made it, and, like, I just remember being happy about it, right? And, like, I remember him saying he never wanted to leave the house, or he didn't want to hang out with his friends or whatever at that time. So everything was fine, right? Until his best friend popped up. And then everything went out the window of what he said. So he went and hung out with him right that day. And this is the day before Thanksgiving. And I was like, that's fine, whatever. And I never really tripped on him when he hung out with his friends. And so everything was cool on Thanksgiving. We all got together and we all ate and stuff. His friend was there and everything. I didn't think there was an issue between us until I think he's kind of acting funny that night, Thanksgiving night, the night of Thanksgiving when we got back home. And then the next morning, I remember we're laying in bed, and I remember he just sat up in bed, like, randomly, and just looked at the wall. And he was just staring at it, like, with this blank stare. And I was just like, and he was staring at this wall for like 3 minutes straight. And I was just looking at him like, what the heck is he doing? And he stood up and he was like, I'm going to go hang out with blah, blah, blah for a little bit. And I was like, okay, cool. And he didn't even come back until, like, the sun was setting, I believe. And I was just chilling because I was watching my movies anyway. So I was just in the room all day watching movies, like, chilling, right? Because I don't even think the kids were there that time. Or at that time, that day, the day after Thanksgiving. And so I was just chilling, and I remember him coming back, and he would just peek in the door and play with me a little bit and leave again. And he just kept doing it the whole time. I was just like, what is he doing? Why is he just coming in and peeking through the door and saying little things and leaving again? Like, it's weird. And so I don't know if he felt like he had to check in, but he just kept doing it, and I was just like, what the heck? And so I never said anything. I just kind of let it go. And I think when he got back, he started a fight with me for no reason. I heard him say something rude, and I kind of confronted him about it. Like, why did you just say that? And then it just started a whole argument. And we never stopped fighting after that. Like, ever since Black Friday of 2019, we kept fighting, right? And so our relationship pretty much went downhill, like, literally. And so did the house. So the house, the lights would start flickering all the time. Like, around that time after Thanksgiving, the lights would start flickering. The kids' phones would be flickering while they were on the phone with my mom sometimes. I remember my son being on the phone with my mom, and his phone would just flicker. Like, it just turned black for no reason. It just kept flickering on and off. And I seen it, and he's like, whoa, something's going on my phone. It was just weird stuff happening around the house. And me and my ex, we weren't talking at all after a minute. And like, over the months, I think it was like in December, we really wasn't talking. Like, he kept picking fights with me all the time, you know. He wouldn't do it around the kids, but we would just run out on talking terms. But we lived together, so we had to be cordial until like I left, because I was making plans to leave, you know, because it was just like our relationship was like demolished. It was crazy. I just never understood what happened the day after Thanksgiving. I would never know, because he never told me. I kept questioning him because he would be crying and stuff, and I'd be like, why are you crying? And he'd be like, I don't want to tell you, I don't want to talk about it. He just never talked to me about it, so I probably would never know what happened. But the thing is, I really don't care at this point. But at the time, I was super confused because everybody's acting weird all at once. And so the house, I believe, became haunted. And the reason why I say I'd rather be in hot weather than cold is because he would leave a lot. Like, he'll go hang out with his best friend all the time. And when we weren't talking, right? We weren't even talking or anything. Like, he'll just leave. And so, sorry about that. I don't know what just happened. Like, my phone just, like, the video just stopped for no reason. But anyway, I remember being at the house, and he would just leave all the time, right? So if he was home, we'd be fighting. So he'll just leave. And I remember he left me at the house for a minute, like some days, and I was just sitting there like, what the heck is going on? Whatever. So I would just do me, you know, literally, instead of fighting, you know. So I remember he was gone, and it was like close to Christmas, but it was before Christmas. And I was at home alone because I think the twins had left with their dad. Jaden, my oldest, was gone with his dad. And I had the house alone. And I remember it was like a snowstorm coming, right? And so the house was haunted at that point, because I remember like sitting, when he would fight with me all the time. I remember one night he was fighting with me. He punched a hole. I think he threw the vacuum and it made a hole into the wall. And I was in a room, and after that, and I was like chilling on the bed, because I remember I would always wear my purple robe I would always wear. And I remember sitting in the dark in a room watching TV on the bed, and he's in the living room trying to patch up the hole. And all of a sudden, I seen like this white smoke coming towards me from the ceiling in the room, and I was like, what the heck is that? And so I was like, maybe I'm just tripping, you know, maybe I'm just tripping because it's dark, you know, maybe I'm just seeing stuff. And it just kept happening, and I was just like, what the heck is that, you know? So I got really freaked out to where I went in the living room where he was, even though he was upset. He just was not talking to me at all. But I just went out there because I wanted to get out the room. And I was sitting on the other side of the couch by him, and there was more smoke coming out. It started happening again, and it was coming from the Christmas tree, like from the Christmas tree, and it was coming towards me. And it's weird, it was like this curly, it looked like smoke, like literally like just smoke, like little particles of smoke, like coming towards me slowly. And I was just like, what the heck is that? And I remember I asked him, I was like, do you see that? And he's like, what? And he wasn't paying attention to me. All he wanted to do was fight. So he wasn't listening to me, and I was just sitting there seeing all the smoke, and I was just like, oh, okay, this is weird. So I went back in the room, and it happened again. I was just like, what the heck is going on? And I think that's the time when the house started getting more haunted. But I don't think it was haunted before, but after Thanksgiving, I don't know what happened on Thanksgiving, because he started acting weird the day after Thanksgiving, and the house started acting weird at the same time, and everybody else was acting weird too towards me. And so I was just like, what the heck's going on? And I remember he left in December with his best friend. I don't know where they were doing. Like, he would not communicate anything to me. I asked him why he's crying and stuff. He wouldn't tell me. And so I was home alone, and nobody was home but with me. And I remember I was so freaked out because it was super cold outside, and I got a Christmas tree, and I was like, I'm just gonna put up the Christmas tree then, so I could have something to do instead of just being here freaked out by myself in the middle of a snowstorm. So I got the tree before the snowstorm hit, and I remember putting up the tree and everything was fine. But the craziest part is, like, I just kept getting more freaked out, because if I would go to the kids' room or anything, I would just see the smoke all the time, and I'd just be like, what the heck is... I thought the house was literally haunted, like, for real. And so it just sucked, but being in that house during a snowstorm, and I'm seeing all this smoke, and, like, I know the house is haunted because the lights are flickering for no reason. They never flickered like that before Thanksgiving. And so the lights would flicker all the time. I was home alone during a snowstorm. I couldn't leave if I wanted to because it's so icy outside, and it was like a blizzard almost. And so I just was stuck in the house, and I didn't know what to do but put up the Christmas tree. And so and the craziest part, like, I believe the kids came back, because I stayed up. I think I was just chilling until the kids came back. I just wanted them to come back so I wouldn't be alone. And so they came back, and the creepiest thing with them is that they're like asking me to buy them elves on a shelf, and I was like, absolutely not. They're like, Mom, you should go buy us elves on a shelf. Like, we really want elves on a shelf. She could buy 2 of them, one for me and one for her, and we could just put on top of the bookshelf. And we really want the elves on a shelf. Can you please go to the store and buy elves on a shelf? We can't even order them online if we can't find them at Walmart. And they were really hell-bent on me buying these elves on a shelf, right? And at the time, I was freaked out because I thought the house was haunted. And then on top of that, they're asking me to buy them elves on a shelf. I was like, no. I was like, I'm sorry, guys. It's not going to happen this year. I'm not buying elves on a shelf. And I was already freaked out anyway, because my daughter had this cheetah cat that would sit on top of their bookshelf. And every time I would go in their room in the morning to wake them up, that cat would just creep me out. It would just look like it's just staring at me with his big eyes. And I was just like, I'm not buying no elves on the shelves this year, guys. I'm sorry. Not with all this drama going on. And then the house is tripping as well. Like, everybody was tripping at the same time, even the house. And so, like, everybody, my friends, everybody, family, everybody. And so, and him. And I was just like, what the heck is going on in my life? And it just all hit the fan on Thanksgiving, like Black Friday after Thanksgiving. So I never bought them the elves on the shelf. And the craziest part is whenever I talk to my kids, before, when I talked to them, I was asking them if they remember the elves on the shelf. And they'd be like, yeah. I'd be like, you guys remember you guys were asking me to get elves on the shelf? And they'd be like, yeah. And they're like, we don't even know. They're like, they're creepy. Like, I was like, but you guys are asking me to buy them for you that year. And they're just like, we don't even know why we're asking you that. They're like, they're creepy. And I was just like, that's so weird. So, like, to this day, I don't know what happened. Like, literally, our relationship, like, went downhill, like, the day after Thanksgiving. And we never really got on good terms after that since then. And I think I left. I ended up moving out and everything. And it's just crazy because he would just leave me there, right? And so I just knew the house was haunted, and I just had to get out of there. Literally. But that's why I say I prefer hot weather over cold weather, because at least when it's hot, I could leave if I want to, you know, and not have to worry about the not being able to leave. Versus it being cold and snowy, you know. And I was just stuck in that house. I just remember that whole week. I was just like stuck, and I couldn't go anywhere. And it's just like, I knew the house was haunted, and it just got worse until we left, to be honest. And so I would never know what happened the day of Thanksgiving. And it's just a bad energy, I guess, but I'll never go back to the house, I'll tell you that much. And everything was fine until Thanksgiving. And I don't know, I would never forget that year. Because that was right before Corona got really bad, and like everything hit the fan for me, at least. And It's pretty crazy. But I remember that day. I would never, that's why I prefer being in hot weather versus cold weather, because at least I can escape if I need to, you know. I couldn't go nowhere. It was so much sleet. There was so much. It was a blizzard. Literally a blizzard. Almost, it looked like a blizzard. I think they were saying it was a blizzard on the news and stuff, you know. And I don't know, I just can't do it. So that's why I prefer being hot other than being cold, to be honest, and being in hot climates, because at least I'll be in control, you know, of my next moves. But that year was kind of creepy, especially that time, you know. And I'll never go to the house again. But anyway, and the creepiest part to me is like the kids don't even remember why they're asking me to buy them those elves on the shelves, you know. And to this day, I don't think they still don't. I'm sure that they don't remember why they're asking me for those elves. So I'm glad I didn't even buy them. Like, they're literally trying to get me to look it up on Amazon too. Like, if we can't find them at the store, we go on Amazon, you can order them there. And I'm just like, no, I just can't do it. But well, that's my flashback Friday for you guys. I just wanted to tell a little story. But I just hope everybody have a good weekend. I know I am, so yeah, I just wanted to hop in and say hi. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I'll let you guys go before I talk your head off. I'm gonna go vibe out and do me, of course, per usual. So I just hope everybody have a good one, and stay safe, and power to the people that's still in the heat. I give you guys my props. I tried. It worked for a little bit, but I had to go. I'll be back. But I love them too. I love that state. So I'll be back, of course, but I had to go. It was too hot. But at least I was able to escape and wasn't stuck versus being in the cold, you know. So anyway, I love you guys, and I hope you guys have a good weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.